Hi, welcome to a windy edition of the AdoreKnit Podcast. I'm your host, Steph, also known as AdoreKnit Steph on Instagram and Knitting Samurai on Ravelry. And all my projects are linked over there. So, I started off facing the other way. Oh, you can see a drying towel. Sorry. I started out the other way and the wind was just too much. So, I'm hoping that the house is going to protect you from the wind. So we'll see how this goes. It's been a while. It's been like 5 weeks. So how have you been? Go ahead. I'm listening. Yeah, us too. We are pretty tired of quarantining, but it's the safest thing to do. So we are. What can I say? There's not a lot going on here. You know, the shop is busy and I'm not having a lot of knitting time. We're doing more things in the evenings as a family, like playing games and stuff. And so I don't feel like I have enough, content to record more often. So I think during this time of social distancing and quarantine, I'm gonna shoot for once a month, because 5 weeks is a bit long, but I do want to sit and talk with you, and I love the comments and I love just catching up. So I do want to continue that. I need a little more time to get things down, and I think I said that last time. Anyways, so today I have a finished object, 4 works in progress, a shop update, the July prize drawing. Anything else? No, can't think of anything else. Oh, this is my quarantine haircut. Steve did it. He did a pretty good job. I'm pretty happy with it. It's not too bulky, and yeah, I can still barely get it into a ponytail. I have like a little nub of a tail. So let's talk about, well, first, should we do the prize drawing? Okay, let's do that. Where's my paper? It's over here. I even wrote show notes, but you know, how detailed can they be when they're on this size of an outbook? So for the AdoreKnit prize drawing, which is a $10 gift certificate to the shop, we draw once a month. If you'd like to enter, use hashtag AdoreKnit on Instagram when you post your knitting photos of your works in progress with our stitch markers and keepers or project bags, whatever you have that's ours that you're using. We love to see it. That's the point of it. So for July, we had 43 people, and so congratulations, Dorothy. Send me a PM on Instagram or on Ravelry, whichever is easier for you, and I will give you a coupon code. So thank you so much. All right, so that was the prize. The shop update, should we get that out of the way? I don't know. Let's talk about knitting. Okay. I'm a little out of practice. So these are my July, Desert Vista Dye Works socks, and I remembered to do the patterning on the back this time. So this is, as I said, Desert Vista Dye Works Vizio base, and the colorway is James Bond, The Spy Who Loved Me. It's based on that color, and I love the stripes, the black and white, like a tux, like the center of a tux. So yeah, very nice 70s bright color on the movie poster. So that's what inspired these. I knit them on size 0s. I used a slip stitch pattern. I don't know that there's actually like a formal pattern out there that I used, but yeah, I slipped every 4th row. I slipped a stitch, and I stayed with my normal 62 stitch count, and they're a little snug going over my heel. I did the Spring Ecstasy by Tina Koo. I did her heel. I really like that. It's working out great for me. Birds talking. My hair is flying. But so you knit this, it's a free pattern. You knit this section, the sole of the foot flat, and then you pick up stitches around the flat part and you decrease them down. And I kind of like it. And from the back of the foot, it looks like, let's see if that works. Well, kind of like that. You see how it goes to a point right there. So, those are done. Off my needles. They're for me. Sorry, Mom. But I do have, I didn't weigh them yet, but my guess is I'm going to have 45 or 50, 45 probably, because I usually run about 50 grams, 53, 55 grams for socks that are about this length. That's the length I like. So I do have enough left over that I could knit a second pair with heels, toes, and cuff contrasting if I wanted. So that's what I'm noticing doing all of these socks. So this is now April, May, June, July. So I have done 15 months of the Desert Vista Dye Work Sock Club. Yay, me! And so I have a lot of these half skeins left over. Sorry. So I have a lot of these half skeins left over. And I know you can do a monster sock, but I'm thinking some of these that are my favorite, I might pull from like last year's socks and do a contrasting heels, toes, and cuffs. So I'm thinking of something else right now. It's currently my centerpiece in the dining room, sitting next to my umbrella Swift. Oh, there's my leftovers. Sitting next to my umbrella, yeah, Swift, that's what it's called, and my skein winder. So I did do a DVD order, so let's look at what I got. So this one is Harold's Purple Crayon. Oh, it's very pink. This one, I love this one. She killed me with her, was it 30% off or 40%? Her birthday's scale, a skein every day. This one's X-Files. It's glorious. This one is the other James Bond one I got. This is an Octopussy. That's yellow. It's not. This one is Janus. So the Greek god Janus. This one reminds me a lot of Modern Holiday, which I've already knit with, and I loved. But this one is the 13th Doctor, so that's nice. Then there's this one, which is Caribbean Sea. Bright, bright, bright summer color. And this one is Fruit Popsicle. Popsicle. This one's one of my favorites. Amadeus. I got it in this and her worsted weight. And then this one I ordered the contrast to go with it. This one's called Night. It's very similar, but they're different. This one has more blues in it. This one is called Hubbard Glacier. So, National Park, I think. So there are those. And then I did join, a while back, I joined the Freckled Whimsy Yarn of the Month Club. So, if you haven't opened your last 2 months, don't look. I'm going to show them. So this one is Pawnee in Love. And I love it. Every skein, she does this contrasting, or she pulls out one of the colors and does a little toe and cuff. And then this one is Always Stay Humble and Kind. Very nice. Very nice indeed, my dear. So that's my centerpiece. My mom had made me she made me a centerpiece for my dining room. I've posted pictures of it on Instagram, and that bowl of brightly colored yarn kind of matches it very well, and it looks sort of like a bouquet. So okay, I'm back again. I must really love you because it's 84 degrees out, I'm gonna say, which is way above my comfort zone, and there's shade on the deck, but I had to sit in this part to keep you sheltered from the wind. So I'm now in sun. Hopefully a cloud will come along and cover it up, because it is really windy. It's nice with the wind, but when there's no wind, it's too hot. So The first part of the month, I worked on my hexagon blanket. That's by Very Busy Monkey on Ravelry. And I do not know if the designers of my projects have accessible sites that are not on Ravelry. But about that whole accessibility thing, I understand you want to be able to look at the new updated one, but if you use, like I do, the original beta version with all the original colors, the pink, white, black color scheme, not a lot of white space, that's what Ravelry has been, so that should be okay, right? I don't know. Over to you, if you do know. So I counted up and I have done 25 hexes. I knit some of the colors from my Advent swap, and there was a sad thing that happened. So the more I laid out my blanket, that's a nice purple, the more I realized that I couldn't figure out why my hexes were not lining up properly. And then I found this guy. And he's been re-knit since I found him, but it was a 7-sided hex. So no matter what I did, the blanket was always gonna curl. And I found it and I lived with it for a day or two, and then I said, you know, I can't stand this, I can't. So at that point, the blanket was not connected across as much as it is. And with a little finagling, I'm gonna stand up, and snipping, I pulled this guy, I undid their edges. These weren't here yet. I undid their edges and I ripped this hex out and re-knit it so it was 6, not 7. And then I did a lot of seaming to get these together, that together, that together. And then I knit this one. That's one of my club colorways. Not club, swap colors. And this banana gray is really pretty. I like that one. I've been taking pictures of the tags every time I knit one, and just so I know if I find a yarn that I've not used before and I'm completely blown away by. This color is beautiful, by the way. So there's that. So once I got it, okay, it's gonna be straight now. I was able to move along. And you can see here's the one I have in progress, but I'm attaching this. So I like to knit a hex and then knit that hex on as I work, just because knitting hexes onto the blanket all the time is very heavy. So if I can do even a third of them separately outside of the blanket and then add them in, it's much more portable, much easier for me. So this is another one of my clubs, and that's my friend's turkey. Oh, yeah, that's right. There are her sunglasses that Monica wore and danced. And then this is another one. This one's gorgeous. Stripes of gray with speckles. Lots of speckles from hot pink socks. Stephanie, she sent me lots of speckles. They're nice. So this is one of my leftover DVD socks. I think this was May. Underneath that is some Felici, older Felici. Over here is a nice teal colorway. It's really soft. I think it has some cashmere in it. This is another one I really love. There's some speckles in this green. And then those are Daryl's socks and my father-in-law's. I used that Croy yarn for both of them. And this one is You're So Scrooged, which is a Fiber Nymph Dye Works, one of her Christmas colorways from back in a wave back. This is a nice teal again. I think that might have been one of the clubs. This is one of the clubs. It's gorgeous. What else? This orange, nice and bright. That's another club color. I keep saying clubs. It's not. It's a swap. This one too. And I skipped over that one, chocolate color covered cherries. And here is the last one that is also a Croy yarn. And I don't think there's any more. So that should have been 25 for you. I'm trying to get you. No, I guess I'm not going to do that. Okay, you're in the sun. That's all there is to it. I don't think that affects. Does that affect the recording? Come here, friends. I sure hope not. So there's the big bad blanket. It is at least 8 feet long and is still in the 3 to 4 feet wide stage. So I was working on this like crazy for probably the first 3 weeks since I last saw you, but the last 2 I really haven't touched this. It just, after I fixed it, I was kind of annoyed and put it in timeout. But looking through them today does make me happy to look at all the stitch markers of I knit this, I knit that, I knit, and remembering all the fond memories of what I knit and where the yarn came from. So it's coming. Yeah, I do use it if I get cold. Sit way back. There's no sun in my eyes. It's just the tiniest bit, but I do have the lean to reach things. So what's this month? Desert Vista Dye Works sock on the needles. Oh no, So I had a blast working on that slip stitch pattern, so much so that I wanted to do another one. But the problem when slip stitches fall off your needles is it's really tricky to pick them back up. I'm not leaving this, so you can just knit for a second while I do this. It's important that I get these back on. They don't have to be correct, they just have to, I mean, correct order, of course, but in terms of leg orientation, it's okay if they're twisted the wrong way. Do you do that? If you drop and pick up stitches and your legs aren't the right way, you just straighten them out the next time around. You see that they're not in line the way the others are, so you just flip it off. I do that. Okay, so here is August. Don't you love this color? It is happiness. It so is. This is the Queen's hats. So inspired by the Queen Mom, and it has a really cute listing picture to go with it. But yeah, so first one, I'm past the heel. That's when I started doing, I did the same exact pattern as last month. Same needle, same yarn, same everything, because it was a lot of fun. So it's just a gorgeous happy neon rainbow. Is the color better back here? So there's that. What else do I have? I have this. Okay, this little tiny bit. Do you ever find yourself buying big box store yarn? I do. It happens. Sometimes the colors just wow me so much. And the box store, big box yarns make for really good gift knitting for someone that you aren't sure that they will take care of it the way you would. So yeah, I just cast this on today down by the pool. I was sitting there for probably an hour while the boys splashed around and had a good time. We pretty much go out there every day from after lunch until 3 o'clock. That's where you find us. So this is size 0 needles. The yarn is Lion Brand mani-pedi, and I think it's beautiful, and it's a great jewel tones. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm probably gonna do the slip stitch again. I really like that. Oh, I forgot to tell you. I did decide on the Queen's hat for my next set of slip stitch socks to go up on the stitch count. So I went to 66 on the sole of the foot, and I only decreased down to 72 around the legs. So I got an extra 8 stitches. So hopefully I can go over my heel, but it would be nice to have it be a little looser, a little less in the tugging. So this is my last project. And it is, again, big box yarn. I'm not apologizing. I'm not. So this yarn, have it double thinged. It is Mandala Ombre by Lion Brand. The colorway is called Felicity. This one's better to show you. And it has like a space dyed technique. It's 100% acrylic or polyester acrylic. And I'm really enjoying knitting with it. It's super thick and chunky. I'm using size 9s to knit this. My pattern is not in here. It is the Simple Hug Cardi, I think, by Cozy Up Knits, the girls up north. I think it's their most recent pattern that they released. It's a cute short sleeve cardigan, very basic, meant to fit, very oversized. And I think the pattern, this is off the needles too. I think the pattern calls for size 11s, 10 or 11s. And so I'm using 9s. I have a loose gauge, so I figured it would be pretty good. And my stitch count is, my gauge is very close. My stitch gauge is on, my row gauge is a little short. So I calculated that, because it's knit bottom up, that up to the armholes, I'm gonna be 8 rows short from the desired length. So I'm just gonna add in 8 rows. But I bought the pattern primarily because I was in love with their striping sequence. And so I really wanted the striping sequence. They have extremely broad sizes. I want to say it goes from like a 28 to a 66, like really nice range, nice spread of options, and I'm super excited. I did not knit this to be super oversized. In fact, I'm probably gonna have 3 or 4 inches of ease, but that's it. Just having lost weight and knowing how I feel about wearing things that are oversized, I didn't want to do that. So far, so good. I am probably another 4 inches away from finishing this. That would be my neighbor. Okay. So I'm gonna stop doing that because it's gonna take me a minute to do. And I'm gonna look at my notes. Okay, let's see. So that's it for knitting content for now. So if that's what you're here for, have a great August, and I will see you in September. And if you're sticking around, this seems like a good spot to do a shop update.
Hey, welcome to the most recent updates that I wanted to share with you. So we released our camping collection. These are some of our inspiration photos. The new camping collection is inspired by those who RV, tent, head up to camp, make s'mores by the campfire, hike mountains, canoe, or go glamping rather than camping. So this is the canoe one referenced. And so often camping is an adventure, so we have that option to add on to all of these sets. So the adventure begins, and this one's a little more glamping. And for those who like to tent, we have this one. And there they are all together, the whole collection. For me, summer is also superhero time. So these are our new options for Captain America. If you're interested, you can choose from a different beginning of the round marker. In the summer, you also see toadstools or mushrooms growing. We have 2 new Millennium Falcons. So this one with Chewie, and then this one with the Jedi symbol. And then again, a little closer on this new Millennium Falcon. It's a darker finish. The latest bags to hit the shop, these are Charlie Brown Peanuts Fall Leaves. They go really great with our Snoopy stitch marker set. And you can see that it has a leaf for a zipper pull and pumpkin lining. The witches, I love their little skinny spindly legs. They also have the pumpkin lining and a witch's hat. And now I present the 2021 Harry Potter Marker Club. It's going to run for 15 days, starting mid-March. These are some ideas of some of the things that might be in the club. Well, similar items would be in the club. So you get to choose your needle size, either medium, large, or a mix of both. And here are the pictures again in a different format, in case it speaks to you that way. We ask you to choose your house, whether you are Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, or Slytherin. And yet another way the pictures could speak to you. And lastly, the price point you would like. So Butterbeer is more markers centered and Gringotts is more keepers and other goodies. So that's it, the 15 days of Harry Potter. Oh, I'm so excited to have it. And if you order during August, you do get 15% off. So we are currently offering free shipping on orders over $20. And thank you so much for watching.
So let's chatter. It's time for some chatter, life chatter. We got great news on Monday night. It is currently, what day is it? It's Thursday. On Monday night, we found out that the school will do exclusively homeschool or virtual school for the beginning of the school year. That's all they committed to. And with the exception of special needs and special situation people that need to go, that would be better served going into the school and getting their one-on-one services. So that was a huge sigh of relief because I was planning on keeping the boys home no matter what, and now I don't have to feel that twinge of guilt that they are not getting the same experience that their friends are getting and they're missing out on the social, because I do so worry about that social aspect. For some reason, I need to let it go, but yeah. So Ro is going into the 4th grade, and I realized the other day that if we don't go back, if we have to do the whole year of quarantine schooling, he is done in the elementary school. Which for us here, we have 5 schools that feed into the middle school. So that's part of the reason why I am so set on the social and concerned about that, because it's nice to have your group of friends. It's just more comforting. I know that going into middle school. So I want that for him. So we'll see how it goes. And Tristan's going into 1st grade. It's crazy. So there's that. Steve turned a whopping 39. I know, we're so old. So we've been together since we were 16, so it's a good long time. And yeah, we had a little party with my parents and with ice cream cake, that's his favorite, and the boys flopped around in the pool, and we used the big umbrella to sit in the shade, and it was nice. I've set up a little patio space next to the kiddie pool, so I've got a nice outdoor straw rug down. It's not straw, but it's like plasticky. What you would use around an RV is basically what I searched for to find that kind of rug. So I've got that rug, I've got several chairs and a table and a big tall umbrella. So it's a nice space for me to be in, and I can sit in the shade and knit and be happy. So other than that, it's like, what have I been reading and what have I been watching? So let me share a little bit about that. I finished An Echo of Things to Come. It's the 2nd book, and I kind of got lost in the plot of what was going on and who was who, but the main 3 characters I care about, and so I just started the 3rd one, and it's a trilogy, so I want to finish it. I want to know what happens to them. That's a swim shirt. I was just checking to make sure it wasn't inside out swim trunks, because that happens a lot. I did read the book Earthsea, which is apparently a classic, but no one ever told me this. And my fantasy sci-fi reading, basically, I became a fan of those 2 genres in college, working at the gym. At the front desk of the gym, swiping people's cards to let them in. I would sit and do my homework, or if I didn't have any, especially in the summer, I'd sit and read. And so my dad basically fed me a list of like, oh, well, you should read this, you should read Asimov, you should read Zelensky, you should read Tolkien. So I read all these books. What was the other one? Shibui, I think, was one of them. Anyways, so over 2 summers working at that gym, I did a lot of these books. And I wondered why he had never recommended this Earthsea. It's very well renowned, and he never recommended it. So I gave it a go, and I know why he didn't recommend it, because the writing style it makes it very difficult to connect with the main character. The story, the plot, interesting enough, but yeah, I have no desire to read any more books by her as a result of reading that one. But the reason I picked it up was that they hinted, I think it was a Looper video on YouTube. I'm a sucker for a Looper video. YouTube's always recommending them, and it's like clickbait for me. I always click. But they suggested that Stranger Things, they mentioned Earthsea in season 3 as possibly foreshadowing season 4, and the storyline, you could see it is very similar what Ged goes through and what 11 goes through. So I read it because I wanted to read the end, see what their ending was, and then I'll have it to compare. So in that sense, it wasn't a waste. But when I was done that, I needed a palette cleanser, and we've really been getting into Dungeons and Dragons. Both watching the Critical Role crew and playing as a family together, which is fun. I'm a cleric elf. That's my part. Both the boys are fighters. One's an archer and one's a sword guy. And Steve's our DM. So we've had 3 or 4 different adventures, and it's fun. I told them, okay, I can only do this 1 day a week. Don't ask me to do it more than that, because it does take a lot of back and forth work for Steve and I, because the boys don't really contribute to the storytelling aspect of it. So it's like, yeah, I want to stab things. But yeah, so it's a little head work for me. I've got to focus and concentrate, and they're so excited and they love it. They love the beating the big bosses. Anyways, so I wanted to read something about elves and dwarves, and I looked in my Audible library, and I had Dwarves of the, oh shoot. It's about dwarves of the something descent? Dragons of the Dwarvens? I don't know. Anyways, it's part of the Dragonlance series of books that are written by the people that own Dungeons and Dragons. I'm not into the whole thing, but I had listened to that probably, 13, 14 years ago, when we were at the condo and before Roland was born. I listened to it at work. I so remember listening to it and loving it, and coming home and telling Steve about it each day, because he had read it when he was younger. So it was fun to revisit, and I definitely know more about that kind of world and what's foreshadowing, what's going on, than I did before. So it was fun. I don't need to read anymore. I looked up what would be next, and there are other things I want to read first. So as I said, I started the next book in the Lycanius trilogy, which I've talked about before. So in terms of what I'm watching, I think I mentioned Ripper Street. That's on Netflix. It's turn of the century Whitechapel detective, with the starting kind of like CSI stuff. They have a guy that's good at figuring things out. So that's like 4 or 5 seasons. I've been watching it for a while. I watch 1 or 2. I enjoy it. It's good. But similar to that, I found on TNT The Alienist. I don't know if you've heard about that one. I really love that. Dakota Fanning is in it, and she plays set in the same time period, but in New York instead of England and London. But she plays a lady detective, so that's a fun twist on it. And they call it The Alienist because it's about a psychologist, but he's really not the main character. Dakota Fanning is. So I think they just like that title. Anyways, so that's good. It's about to finish up season 2. I think this weekend they're gonna have the final 2 episodes on, so I'm very excited to know what's gonna happen, because I so rarely watch television live, you know. Usually it's a binging on Netflix or Prime or something like that. The other thing I've been watching is Snowpiercer. So The Alienist, I saw commercials for Snowpiercer, which is like a frozen dystopian future in which the last people on Earth are on a train that has to continuously move through the snow, because the world is basically frozen, 120 degrees below zero. And my sociological brain absolutely loved it. Oh, this totally was like, it just hit the spot perfectly, because there's first class, second class, third class, and then there are like these stowaway people, and it's great to see the interaction and an uprising and how it's handled. And I think it's Jennifer Connelly, I think that's her name. She was in The Labyrinth and A Beautiful Mind. Her character has a wonderful arc. It's so well acted. And David, I don't know his last name, but he's from Hamilton, and he has a super distinctive voice, and every time he talks I want him to start singing. But he's the other main character in the show. So there's that. I would definitely watch it, TNT, for that one. And then last thing on my list is Lost in Space. I don't know if I was into that last time I talked to you. I started watching it with the boys, thinking it would be a good family show. It's about a family. How bad can it be? It was too dramatic, too, I think it was slow and dramatic for the boys. They were uncomfortable watching it, so they watched like 2/3 of the first episode and then they were out. And so I've been watching it, and I think it's great. I absolutely love it. I've never seen the original Lost in Space TV show. I would say 6 months ago, I watched Lost in Space, the movie, back, I don't know, early 2000s, whenever it came out, that had William Hurt and Joey from Friends, and who was the other girl? Heather Graham. Anyways, yeah, this has a few of those elements are similar, but it's so good. It's so good. And the villain, Dr. Smith, you just gotta hate her, but love her at the same time. So they've got me on that one, and there were 2 seasons of that, I think, on Netflix. So that's what I have to share with you. Yeah, I hope you have enjoyed this little windy episode, a little catch up, and your knitting is going along swimmingly, and the rest of August is good to you. So stay safe, healthy, wear your mask, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.